All right, guys and gals, this is Dixie Thumper here. Just a quick short, doing some reloading of these chalk rounds. I've got the little short pushers here. These are my casings. These have two loadings, and I just punched the primers out and kind of scraped them out, cleaned them out a little bit. They had some residue from the last loading, which was leftover of the cardboard corrugated discs that I put in there. These are just 1.25" discs that you can buy a punch and punch out, and all they do is they go in the casing and they cover the powder cup. They're glued in there, and that keeps the powder in place so it doesn't shake around. It keeps it kind of compacted. These cups are designed for 50 grains of black powder and or black powder substitute. They're not designed for smokeless powder. If you decide to use smokeless powder in them, don't complain to me about blowing them up, because that's probably not a wise idea. Anyway, I'm going to load these up with 50 grains of Pyrodex 777. I'm going to prime them first with a Winchester STS primer, which I have just got some in. These are probably the best primers for 37 and 40 millimeter launchers. If you use a 209, they're not hard. They're actually pretty good. They work well. So I'll do that here in a minute. If you're going to use smokeless powder, you need a scale. Black powder and Pyrodex is measured by volume, not by weight. So you need a measuring device, a little measuring cup type setup, or a dipper or something like that. So these are some of the shells I've already loaded. Go through them real quick. As you can see, these are pretty and nice, and got different bases and whatnot. This is a 38 Smith & Wesson printed base with an aluminum casing. These inserts are left over from you can get them from training, or you can have them made. I'm having a bunch made, and you print the base, and then you insert the insert into this base, and then you JB weld this cut piece of 1.5" aluminum tubing to the base, and you have your shell. These do fit fine in the launcher, so we'll just throw my launcher over here just for giggles here so you can see. I'm not going to cock it or anything. See, these go in, you can push them down, you can see how it fits. The rims fit fine in there. These are my Milk 3.0, Buttermilk 3.0. These use a printed blank, which is right over here. This is a printed blank this one has 6 grains of bullseye in it. It has a piece of paper towel folded up and pushed down, and then hot glue plug at the end. So this is smokeless powder, actually. So they fit in here. These are made with all off-the-shelf components. 1.5" 17 gauge brass tailpiece with the flange, and a special washer, and a few other pieces on the inside. They also fit fine. So if I, make sure this is on safe, it locks in fine. It's locked, no problem. So I'll be firing these off probably tomorrow. This is also a Buttermilk 3.0. Same. These are all 5.5 grains of bullseye in there. These 3 over here, I have 6 grains of bullseye in, and when I fire the 5.5s, I'm going to bring a couple extra projectiles. These are the loose change style projectiles. I'll bring them with me and swap them out and fire them again. But yeah, Buttermilk, all with 5.5 grains of bullseye. Sorry, it's a mess on my little table here. I don't have much room. These I haven't loaded yet, but these are the Bengals bullets shells, and they're awesome. And they have the Milk 2.0 adapter in it, which is what you can get from launcherpope.com. If you just Google Launcherpope, he'll come up. Rich, he's a great guy. He developed those, and Rich carries the inserts, and Bengals Bullets carries the shells. These shells, they are screw based. I can't do it with one hand, but they unscrew right here. I don't know if you can see where my thumb is. And they have shorter pieces that you can throw on there. This is Bengals' newest shell. It's a one-piece unit, basically. It's also a milk unit, but has a grub screw in it. It takes a 38 blank, but it's all one-piece machined. These will work with your standard pushers. They're designed for that, although this one is a little out of spec. There we go. I can get that off. Yeah, this is actually a little too thick, so it might just be this smaller casing. Yeah, they're a little thicker, it looks like. So these are thinner wall than these. The 17 gauge is a little thicker than this. This is 0.038 of an inch, and this is a little bit thicker. I think it's more like 0.42. So you have to play with diameters and play with stuff. Unfortunately, 38s don't, or I'm sorry, 37 millimeters do not have a standard. So everything's a little different, and it's mostly form fitted. These are my Cobray found change, is what I call them, as opposed to loose change. So if you compare them next to each other, I changed the design up because the Cobray is a very tight bore, and it has a step in the barrel. And what I mean by a step, it has a ridge on the inside of the barrel instead of being smooth like this one. This is the TAC 79. So when these are going through on the Cobray, this cone screws into this pusher, and you can see there's a ridge there, and that ridge will catch. So it's not horrible detrimental unless you have something that's like potential, like an airburst round or something. Then yeah, it could detonate inside of your barrel, which wouldn't be a good day if you have a crappy launcher or a cheap something that's a cheap barrel. So what I did is I redesigned these. I flipped this around. The pushers are threaded male, and the cones here are threaded female. And what happened, and I made sure that the diameter was proper size, so as it goes through, if it were to catch, it's going to push its way through. Because I don't know if you can see the design on that pusher is angled, so it wants to go through versus catch and stop. So that's the difference between the Cobray rounds. Now the Cobray rounds will work in everything. So if I wanted to throw it through the TAC 79, it goes right through, no problem. It'll fire fine out of those, and same thing with like your regular loose change will fire fine out of your normal launchers. And I say normal, I mean the ones that are like currently out there, the TAC 79, TAC series, TAC D, the LMT 30, the LMT 37, whoever makes the 203 and 37. And the IWA 37, the Spikes Tactical Havoc and 37, they all will work with these. And this is the loose change. This is designed for this, obviously for the cone to screw in, and the cones come in multiple sizes. They come in longer and shorter. I don't think I have a long one out here. Yeah, I do. Here we go. So this is a longer one. This will screw right into this. Set it right there for a minute and see if I can do it one-handed. That's a big no. All right, so anyway, those screw in. You just need two hands to do it. I'm not dexterous enough to do it with one hand, but I have a couple sizes. There's a Spitzer. This is the short. There's a Spitzer that's pointed, and then there's this longer one, and then you have airburst charges that can go in here. And no, it's not a violation of federal law to put an airburst charge in there as long as you keep the payload under 1/4 ounce. You're generally good. Now, I say that with a caveat. You would need to go research yourself, ATF regulations and federal law, and of course, wherever state you're in, you're governed by your own state laws and locality laws. So I cannot give you legal advice. This shouldn't be taken as legal advice. The state I'm in, I'm fine with a airburst charge up to 1/4 ounce, and what we do is make aerial chalk rounds. You fill them with chalk powder. That's what all this stuff is. You can get it, line marking chalk, and fill these up and turn them upside down and screw them down, and you have a fuse hole right here. See how that's got a fuse hole? So you can literally run a fuse up through that to it, and I mean like just a Canon style fuse, which there's companies out there like canonfuse.com that you can get Canon fuse from. All this takes research. Loading this kind of stuff is not something you should just throw together without any type of experience. You need to actually research what you're doing. You need to watch videos and ensure that you are being safe when you do this. I've been reloading and messing with black powder muzzle loaders and smokeless powder reloading probably since I was about 15 years old. So I'm 56 now, so about 41 years of messing around with this stuff. I've got a pretty good handle on it, so I don't have any really issues, but you can always make mistakes, so you got to be careful. Anyway, that's just my little caveat. So anyway, that's kind of the basics of 37 reloading. You definitely need a glue gun. These cordless ones are really awesome one. That you want the bigger one though. This is the skinny sticks. It's the little sticks. You don't want the little sticks. I go through so many of those things. It's ridiculous. So I get the long ones, and one of these long ones one round might take one of these long ones. That's how much. So you're going to go through a lot of glue. And especially if you're using my rounds with my blanks, which are printed, and all the printed stuff this is proprietary. I'm going to release all this stuff on my Odyssey page, so you'll be able to find the shells, probably the first version. The latest version I won't release just yet. These are pretty much open source. The loose change is out there. If you look for under loose change, you can find it. 37 millimeter loose change on Odyssey, and all the components for the loose change. There's whole packages you can download, and you can obviously go in, drop them into your CAD, and tweak them if you need to, remix them if you need to. This Cobray is basically based off the loose change series, but it's a remix, and everything was changed. All the parameters were changed for the Cobray to be able to work with it. And I know people are like, well, why did you do that? Well, there's a lot of people with Cobray launchers out there, and I mean, I literally run across probably 1 out of every 2 people says they have a launcher tell me they have a Cobray. So I'm like, well, what do you shoot out of that? No, I haven't really shot much of anything because I don't have nothing to shoot out of it. Smokes, what I call chuck wagon smokes, which are the old school tubes, cardboard tubes that you mount in the long casings and shoot them out, and they're fine. They work great. But some of the new stuff that I'm doing is these type nose cones with the holes and everything, so you have a little bit more of a military style looking round. It looks cleaner, it's nicer, it's kind of more fun in my opinion than a big old chucking a big old firecracker out there, or whatever you want to call it, smoke bomb or smoke round or whatever. It's not really a bomb, it's just smoke coming out of it. Anyway, so this was just a little quick tutorial. Some of the stuff that I've got coming up. These rounds here, let me show these real quick. I didn't show these. These are my latest, and I'm going to try them out tomorrow, and they're a little dirty from all the chalk. So these are a printed base, and these are for Pyrodex pellets, which I have. The gold one right here is a white hot pellet for muzzleloader, 50 grain, and the rest are Pyrodex 50 grain pellets. And the 50 grain pellets are topped with a hole punch. I punch out a piece of cardboard, 3 of them actually, and this is let's see, had the, I want to say maybe it's this is 5/8. I'm pretty sure it's a 5/8 hole punch. I punched out 3 of them and I stacked those on the inside. So the way these shells are constructed is they are off-the-shelf components. Again, printed base. They have a steel line chamber with a steel bottom. It's a washer basically that protects the bottom with a close 1/2 inch NMP MPT pipe fitting, close fitting, and it's mounted in a custom base that I made that's set up to hold the JB weld. And then you go in and you score the inside of this piece of tubing here. So when you put your JB weld, your epoxy in there, it's a 2-part epoxy. It grabs a hold of it and holds it pretty well. 209 primed. The top has a nut on it that's tightened down while the JB weld is still wet. So when it all dries, it's one unit. And when you look down on the inside of these, all you see is pretty much metal, which is the idea is to protect the plastic from the blast. And the metal should do that. So these should last a good while. When I do release these, they will come with extra bases so people can put them, when rebuild them if they fail. And the good thing is with the metal parts, if you need to rebuild one of these rims breaks or something, you just take the torch, heat it up, and it pops right out. And you can pull all the metal out. The JB weld will fall off. You just pick it clean, put it on a wire brush, or put it on a wire wheel, and clean it all up, and you can JB weld it right back together and go some more rounds. But these are designed basically just for that 150 grain Pyrodex pellet for ease of reloading, and because most people in more rural areas, even in states that are more anti-gun, you can usually find muzzle loading blister packs of Pyrodex pellets and the muzzle loading 209 primers, because a lot of the muzzle loaders now use the inline 209 primers. So that was the idea behind this, was to give those guys something that maybe they could source at Walmart, because I've seen them at Walmart. I mean, I haven't seen them in a while, but and I've seen them at like Cabela's and Bass Pro and other shops like that. And a lot of gun shops will have them too. In the little blister packs, they have like 16 charges in them for like $12 or whatever the heck there. It's probably not $12 anymore. It's probably like 30 now, but you know how that goes, right? So anyway, that's pretty much it. I will do some more updates with the launching and distance. Hopefully my videographer will make sure and get the impacts this time, because last time I went out, she did not get the impacts. Trouble with teenage girls, right? They don't listen. Just kidding. No, really, they don't. Anyway, these were all chalk filled too, by the way. So they're chalk filled. These are backed with a metal disc and hot glue. So I use a glue backer in all these, except for these right here, which I will on these too. But fill these up with hot glue up to the top of the supports there. And on the ones with the smokeless, I use a metal, I want to say it, I might be wrong, but I want to say it's a 26 millimeter disc, 1-inch disc, metal disc. You can buy them off Amazon all day long, like a 50 pack for, I don't know, $15 or something like that. So I'll put that on there just to protect the back, because these things, even printed at 100%, they're still not strong enough to withstand the blast from the smokeless powder. These things will, they're pretty powerful. I mean, obviously we have 50 grains of Pyrodex in these loads, and these loads, this one's a 6 grain load, and these are 5.5 grains. So smokeless powder is way more powerful than black powder and Pyrodex under certain conditions, compressed conditions, basically. So anyway, that's that. Hopefully I'll have these out and soon. One of the biggest issues I'm running into with these is getting these tubing cut square. It's not critical, but it's just a matter of how it looks, and I want it to look, nice and professional. For me, if it was just for me, I don't really care, whatever, as long as it works. But some people are, most people are like, no, I'm paying for a product, I want it to be perfect, and I understand that completely. I have some other surprises coming too, as they get here, and if everything works out properly, I will update on the channel and let everybody know. I appreciate everybody tuning in. I don't get any money for this. This is just for informational purposes, fun. I want you to enjoy your launchers and just have fun with them. I mean, that's the thing. I love mine. I love shooting it, and I've got a 40 mic coming in now that I'm just waiting for it to get to the Class 3 dealer up in Atlanta area, and then I'll have to do my Form 4, and I'll go up there and pick up my 40 mic, and that'll be my first 40 mic. It's only been about 40 years since I've first held one, when I was 18 years old in the Marine Corps, M203 and a M79. So I've always wanted one, but never could afford it. But now finally I've got one. It's a gas gun. It's just a police trade-in, but hey, it's a 40 mic. It gets me in the game. So these are some of the others. These are Bengals bullets loads that I was going to show too real quick. These go in here, and these are the impact style. So they're set up for an impact kit. So when it hits, it detonates a primer, and if you have chalk or whatever in there, so they're pretty neat. These are for the 37s, because the 37s are smooth bore. They don't have rifling, so you need something to stabilize a long projectile for a long distance. These will stabilize a little bit, just due to the design. They're heavier in the front and lighter in the back, so they end up flying a little. They'll come out and they'll wobble, and then they'll wobble, and then they'll kind of straighten out. I've got a couple steels, and with the steels you can see how that works. These are so this is same thing, loose change design up here, and you can see how this screws into the round to make it looks kind of like a mortar round. It's kind of designed after a 60 millimeter mortar. Ben did a really good job with these when he designed them. Great guy, Bengals Bullets, BENGLESBULLETS.com. Check him out for the shells. He's got blanks that run the shells. He's got these kits for these, and all the files. He has the files that a link to his Odyssey for the files. It's a long round. It's kind of funny looking, but yeah, it works, right? Here we go. And that's the milk unit with a 38 blank. But check him out. He's good. Launcher Pope. It's a pretty common spelling, launcher, and POPE.com. Check him out. And any of my stuff, I'm listed on eBay as well. You can check my stuff on eBay for right now. I've got a website that's 37mmdt.com. It's still under construction. Hopefully we'll have that up and running pretty quickly here. We're working on it, but they've changed. Every time you think you got one thing done, there's two more hurdles to jump. So anyway, thanks a lot. Again, appreciate it. Y'all have a good night. Have a good rest of your weekend. Enjoy your Super Bowl if you're watching that. I really don't care about it, but whatever, it's all good. Take care.